1 2 1 2 Boogaloo. I had an egg roll for breakfast this morning. It was delicious, a little bit more hard-boiled than I'd really like in a perfect world, but it's not a perfect world, as we here in North Kensington know as well as any. Is that enough?
Give me just one bit about eggs.
Eggs, yeah, I love eggs. I could live on eggs. I love scrambled eggs. I love poached eggs. Peter Piper picked a pickled pepper. I don't know what he did with it.
He put it up his bottom. Weirdly enough, I was studying vitamin B12s because us lot who don't eat meat lack on that. And there is a different level of vitamin B12 in different ways of cooking eggs. Did you know that? So if you did a boiled egg, you get whatever it is, 0.25 milligrams of B12. If you scramble it, you get a lot less. If you omelette it, you get less. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can imagine that because you keep it in the shell.
Yeah, I guess so. Poached, again, is less B12.
Yeah, I can understand that. It all makes sense to me.
Does it? Wow, it threw me a little bit, I've got to confess.
All right, let's get started, mate. Do you want to... I think me push.
I like me pushes. They do me proud, man.
Am I up?
Radio.com. Tune in when you get a chance.
I love Portobello Radio. Probably the best radio station in Ledbroke Grove.
You're amazing.
Are we good to go?
Shot ball, you know. Put your hands in the air. I'm the cutest.
Fly Girls, Frankie Paul and Tipperary. Amazing.
You look good. Like Obama. We are for sure with honor.
I think we're all set, baby.
Great. Did you download that Johnny Clark by any chance that we got sent this morning? Mad scientist Johnny Clark.
So the answer's got to be no, sorry.
All right, let's get going.
Yeah?
Quite intense.
Well, for me it's better because normally I've got the right here.
Ah.
Up there, it's nice.
I love Portobello Radio. Probably the best radio station in Ledbroke Grove.
Yeah, well, let's hope so.
I don't think there's any hoping at all.
Anyway, welcome everybody to the Portobello Radio Show. I think it's number 385. We're live and direct here at the Muse.
Wow, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. On the Portobello Road Market on a very rainy afternoon.
Yeah,
it's almost like April, isn't it?
It has to be said, everyone is packing up. They had some April hailstones a week early.
Yeah, you know that.
And we love hailstones around here.
We certainly do.
We've got a great show. Yeah. We are delighted to say we got Venu Dupa from the Westway Trust.
That's going to be crazy.
Here to answer all your questions, or certainly mine.
Did you get much feedback on the WhatsApp number about that one?
You know what? Sometimes we get feedback on the WhatsApp, sometimes not so much. We're delighted to say that Isis has come from the rain.
Greetings. I'm in the house.
She is in the house. We're live and direct. Auntie Isis is with us again, which is fantastic. We missed her last week, so she's come back.
Indeed, I'm Piers Thompson.
I never went away.
I
just had so much on last week, and I had to prioritise work and money.
Bless you. Lovely to see you. Wicked. Absolutely wicked. Fantastic.
See, we're all breadheads here. I'm Piers Thompson. That's Greg
Weir.
Oh, yeah,
we didn't
get
do that
on
bit.
with the show.
That's sound like brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
It's still International Women's Month. We also have Natasha Langridge coming to talk about the film of... I forgot what the name of the play is.
You're eking
called,
that one out. I love it. I absolutely love it. But anyway, Natasha Landridge is absolutely fantastic. She's superb. She's been on this platform many, many times. Come and check her out, man. Yeah. Keep it locked. Next 2 hours, live and direct, Portobello Radio.
Yes, that of course is Dusty Springfield, and that's a remix. I'm not quite sure who it's by. I can't get it up right now. Anyway, it's Holto's remix. We are delighted to welcome to the studio Venu Dupal from the Westway Trust.
Thank you, and I'm delighted
The
to be here.
CEO.
I'm really pleased to be here. I'm a bit
Welcome.
jealous, I have to say, because in my youth, I actually produced a radio piece.
Oh, are you volunteering?
Maybe.
We could use some help.
Yeah, we've only got Greg, you see.
It was called The Disrobing of Draupadi, who's a character from the Mahabharata. And I did a soundscape for it for BBC
Wow.
Radio Nottingham.
How
Yeah.
absolutely
Brilliant.
fantastic. And we're about to be all about soundscapes, actually. We are doing the sounds of Latimer underneath the Westway itself. Vena, we are delighted we got you here during International Women's Month because the job you do is quite a significant one in the area.
Extremely significant.
Extremely significant. You arrived in August 2021, was it?
That's right, yeah.
In the middle of COVID. What made you come to the Westway Trust? There were obviously a lot of challenges,
Yes.
not the least being the 2-2 report,
Yes.
and COVID and the loss of revenue. What made you think that's the challenge for me?
It's the job for me.
So I was working in construction at that point,
Wow.
which we can talk about later if you ask me about the COVID situation. But I felt very excited by three things, really. First of all, social entrepreneurship, because really the Westway Trust is a giant social enterprise, or
Exactly,
should
yeah.
be. That's
Should-
the way we
should
should be
be,
thinking
exactly, yeah.
about it. And I felt that that was a really good fit for my skills, because I do have an entrepreneurial streak and worked in the private sector, but also really very much motivated by social good. And then the second thing was that I'd always felt that anti-racism had been all the things I did around the edges of other jobs. But I felt that the Westway Trust, because of the 2-2 Foundation report, actually put anti-racism front and centre. And so I felt like all the knowledge I had around that subject and the commitment I got to that subject really fitted with this role. And then I think the third thing was I was looking to be in a community that I felt would welcome me, and also one where I felt my skills would make a difference. So really, I wasn't looking for just any job. In fact, I hadn't done any other job applications. But when I heard about this one, I thought, actually, Westway fits it.
Fantastic. So, what were your first impressions? Because, as we've said a couple of times, it was COVID. There was very little going on. I think the gardeners were still working, but not many other people. How did you find us?
Yeah, so coming in during COVID. Yeah, so I'd worked all the way through COVID because when I say construction, it's a rather loose term. I was building a recording studio in East London that was financed by the Rolling Stones.
Oh, great.
Very cool.
And that had to continue. And it needed to be finished in a certain time frame because we obviously wanted them to come and open it, and their time frame is very limited. So I never felt like I stopped work during COVID. When I got to the Trust, I think there were probably 8 or 9 people working at the Trust, and I felt it was very warm. I felt like there were clear challenges, and coming in during COVID, it just gave me a chance to take a breath, to actually reflect on what might be the task ahead, take a few opinions, time to think. Before, when September started, we were then into the day-to-day work. It really gave me a chance to think and experience a sort of a dialed-down version of what the community around the Westway is, because very soon it was back to full-on. Yeah.
But what about sort of like getting yourself gelled in with staff and stuff when everybody is like, you only get to meet 8 people and all these people are disjointed? Was that also difficult to do?
So because I had been working as a consultant, and also I've often worked where you bring together a team really quickly and you get close-knit really quickly, and then you have to disband really quickly and move on. And when you're working in a sort of series of jobs, then you learn to do that very quickly. And so with that core team, I felt I managed to do that, and I did a lot of face-to-face work and a lot of sessions with the staff. And initially when I came in, my focus was getting the internal culture pointing in the right direction. Of course, these things take years.
But then, as you said, you know, quite rightly, during the COVID period was actually probably a good opportunity to do that piece of kind of gelling with your team.
Yeah, it was. It really was.
I mean, that August round here obviously basically means carnival. There was no carnival. We weren't the people we normally are, and have been for however long. That must have been a bit discombobulating.
Well, it was, but I hadn't been to Carnival for some time, partly because there hadn't been one, but also it's interesting. My husband goes to Carnival every year, and that's sometimes the time I spend with my father, who's very elderly, and, you know, I try and see him often. And so normally when my husband comes to Carnival for two days or whatever, I go and see my family. But no, last Carnival I was around. But it was a bit discombobulating, but I thought I didn't really know what to expect. So, you know, I just took it in my stride.
I think it's also discombobulating to come into Notting Hill on that bank holiday weekend and not see anything happening. That is the really odd thing, actually. And then when you come, and when it all kicked off again, I mean, last year when I went to Panorama, I was walking along Portobello Road and I was like, oh my God, yeah, this is what used to happen every year. It's kind of like weird to see it back.
Yeah, thank goodness it's back.
Yeah.
You had an opportunity to look around, see what was going on, indulge your curiosity. What did the challenges appear to you to be once September started?
Well, they were very in my face, actually. The first one was the financial issues at the Trust, because obviously COVID had hit businesses here. And so how were we going to be supportive to businesses but also deal with the debt that incurred for the Trust? So there were real financial challenges. I think there had been some reorganisation of the staffing during COVID in response to those financial challenges. And so I found an organisation that was a little bit bruised. And also the impact of the publication of the Tutu Foundation report. So there were clearly some expectations of the Trust, and we had said that we were going to implement all the recommendations. So these were all challenges that were actually in your face, and it was how do we manage expectations? And then there were the medium and longer term challenges that we now face, but those ones were very, very obvious.
How do you feel the Trust is doing at addressing the institutional racism charges that were laid, was it in 2019?
I don't really see it as... I would slightly phrase the question differently. I would say that visible progress is still lacking. But what we have done is we have really, really laid a solid foundation in terms of changing internally and the internal structures and issues. And that's what we put into the progress report that we published just before our last AGM. I think that the expectation is now, in the medium term, that we start to deliver some visible impacts of that. And really, we're gearing up for that. So we're talking to a lot of people. We've put in place steering groups, advisory groups, community forums, and really looking forward to doing more.
I was interested as well in all of that, how you would put these recommendations into place, considering that things have changed as well since the report was done. Obviously, there's the Grenfell thing, but and I'm just wondering, looking at the recommendations as they stand now, obviously they came out of 2018. Are they all some things that we need to put into place in North Kensington, or are they things that could be, I don't know, some of the recommendation things that could be done differently? I don't know if
some of the recommendations were a bit surprising in that you had some really, really broad ones. And then, you know, like, for example, I think it was, you know, we need to make a centre for civil rights and race, which was somewhat an Americanism. But then you had some really, really specific ones, like we need to eliminate 0 hours contracts. So, it's about thinking, well, that's quite an unusual basket of recommendations. Nevertheless, the commitment was there to do them, and we are going to be doing them in some way, shape or form. And we've started on all of them, actually. So, yeah, and there may be others. I mean, we may need to go further, probably will need to go further. And that we can only do when we've, achieved a number of things. So, first of all, we need to stop thinking of ourselves as a property company. We need to start thinking of ourselves as a social good company. We then need to think about, well, how are we going to do that? How are we going to demonstrate that? And how can we use the community expertise around us to help us do that? And then finally, the community needs to allow the Westway Trust to do that. Yep. And that's the task ahead.
I mean, I suppose for me as well, it's the balance, isn't it, of how do you become what the Westway Trust was supposed to become, i.e. a body for social good, social enterprise, but at the same time raise income. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, I made a comment that the Westway Trust is not the Wellcome Trust or the national trust. It doesn't have that. It doesn't have boundless amounts of money. And so I'm just wondering again, how do you see the balance coming eventually? I mean, do you think we'll get to, I think it was meant to be 60-40 or 80-20 originally, like charity or charitable aims and then private, and then went up to 60-40 or something. I can't remember. You're probably better at this, remembering this.
Yeah, you have a bit more history than I do on
and
that.
I'm just wondering if we're ever going to get to a point realistically where the Westway Trust would be able to simply just offer 80% of its properties at charitable rates, or is it something that can happen realistically?
Well, one of the medium-term challenges, I think, for the Trust is to make sure we have an effective asset management plan. I think there had been a bit of ad hocery with the asset management plan. And then I think probably when there was a very, very property-focused board, there was probably a more aggressive asset management plan. I've looked at an aggressive asset management plan, and we don't want that. And that's not right for this community. So the trick is, and the balance is, how do we get an asset management plan that's right? And that's the task for the medium term for us. And when I arrived, we made a new plan for the organisation, which was socially focused. But what we did was we identified all the work packages that needed to happen in order to get the trust where it needed to be. So now we're steadily working through those.
Fantastic. I'm just going to play one of West Side's anthems and we'll come back. I'm very interested in picking up on that point about how far you make rental income that you can then disperse and how far that rental income has to be.
And how do we communicate that as well to the community?
Yeah, great.
Well, that's a very big question.
This is how we do it. It's Friday night and I feel alright. The party's here on the west side, so I reach for my 40 and I turn it up. Designated driver, take the keys to my truck. Hit the shop cause I'm faded. Honey's in the streets, say money, yo, we made it. It feels so good in my hood tonight. The summertime skirts and the guys ain't canine. All the gangbangers forgot about the drive-by. You gotta get your groove on before you go get paid. So tip up your cup and throw your hands up and let me hear the party say, I'm kinda buzzed and it's all because this is how we do it. South Central does it like nobody does. This is how we do it. To all my neighbors, you got much flavor. This is how we do it. Let's flip the track, bring the old school back. This is how we do it. This is how we do it. All hands are in the air and wave from here to there. If you're an OG Mac or a wannabe player, you see the hood's been good to me ever since I was a lowercase G. But now I'm a big G. The girls see I got the money, $100 bills, y'all. If you were from where I'm from, then you would know that I gotta get mine in a big black truck. You can get yours in a 6-4. Whatever it is, the party's underway. So tip up your cup and throw your hands up and let me hear the party say, I'm kinda buzzed, it's all because this is how we do it. and life show was slow. And all they said was 6'8" he stood. And people thought the music that he made was good. They lived the DJ and Paul was his name. He came up to money, this is what he said. You and OG are gonna make some cash. Sell 1,000,000 records and we're making the dash. Oh, I'm buzzing the club. This is how we do it. South Central dancing like nobody does. To all my neighbors, you got much flavor. This is how we do it. I'll never come whack on an old school track. This is how we do it. I'm kind of buzzed, so because South Central dancing like nobody does. Nobody does. Oh, it's party time. This is how we do it. Straight up coming from the west side. This is how we do it. Oh, she's got the flavor. Yeah. This is how we do it. And money does it like nobody does. Yeah. Come on now.
That, of course, is Montel Jordan. This is how we do it over here on the west side.
So West Side, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
LA to Ladbroke Road. Such
That's
a connection.
Yo, Montel, this Percy, man, the barber.
There you go. We're here talking to Venu, CEO of Westway Trust. We were just talking about asset management, and just in case people at home, that's a bit financial.
Yeah.
What we're talking about really is that not originally, but in the middle of the Westway Trust's existence, there was very much an idea that the property was commercial, it delivered some income, and that income was then dispersed.
It's basically supposedly a social enterprise model, isn't it? They built those properties in it. Well, in 1970.
That's more of a charity model, I would say, than
Well, no,
social enterprise.
it is. But what I'm saying, in the late 60s when they were building it, they said that these properties would make the money, like you said, to plow back into the charity so that it could keep going to provide. So it's actually what you now call a social enterprise model. I mean, I don't know.
It is, but I think the danger of thinking of it in terms of you make money on the one hand and you disperse it on the other. One, it's a very patrician model. But also, it means that you're only ever measured in terms of the impact you make in terms of the money you deliver. So these are the rent concessions we deliver, these are the grants we deliver, these are the subsidies we deliver. But actually, the Westway Trust has the potential to be so much more for this community. We should be looking at ourselves in terms of, social deliverables. What is our social value? And in order to do that, you have to look at different sorts of indicators. You can include financial because we are about personal, social, economic, etc., environmental. But actually, what we need to do is develop the other indicators and then demonstrate them. And actually, the community can help us calibrate that. So, if we test and learn a few of what those indicators might be, and then go back to the community and say, look, this is what we've learned. How does that resonate with you? What more can we do? Where are the gaps in the borough? So the Westway Trust strategically in this borough has a chance to do so much more than just deliver money or deliver financial benefit to the community.
Because, of course, the Westway Trust is not the council. It has different jobs. It has...
It's an entirely separate organisation.
Yeah,
I think that's important.
Entirely separate, but one that can ask key questions of the council. And when
it's like a key stakeholder.
I think it really is. And when we can work with the community to realise the value of that, the value of the Westway Trust, it can be so much more than, okay, I need a space, or okay, I need a grant. Of course, those things are always valuable because there's never enough. But actually, the Westway Trust can be so much more, and that's the vision that I can see ahead. And that the challenge is obviously communicating it and bringing it into being.
I live on Silchester, as you know, and we're about to have a lot of money spent on refurbing our estate. Whenever we're asked, what should the developer do? We talk a lot about, well, what about training some of our young people, or indeed old people, to work on this £40 million project you've got? That seems to be very difficult for them. Are there opportunities where the Westway Trust can step in and create that kind of opportunity so that... But it would mean the regeneration was done by people who care, and it would mean that young people had old people, middle-aged people had a job to go on to next.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a big social opportunity, isn't it? And I think that's part of the theory behind what we call community centering. So whenever we can involve the community in what we do, paid or otherwise, but we want to be doing that because that then generates wealth back into the community. So, yeah, I think there are things the Westway Trust can do. So if I'll just give you one quick example. So on the repurposing and regeneration of 3 to 5 Thought Close, we made sure that on that project we were drawing from the local community, both in terms of who was painting, who was decorating, but also we used a local architect who lives on the Swimbrook estate, and we used somebody who's locally in the area and appears during Carnival to do some stuff down at the Bramley Road end. So I think that's it. It's about everything we do. We must think about community. How is this an opportunity to bring the community in to make the Westway Trust more permeable?
And add resilience and indeed
sustainability.
Economic upturns.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We've invited you here during International Women's Month. You're a woman running. It's a £6 million operation. You've done many other things of equal stature. Does the trust deliver to women in the way it should? To deliver to the mothers, the daughters, the sisters?
Well, we can always do more. I think we just have to think about, opportunity, life chances, enterprise opportunities. We have to think about the creche facilities. I mean, that's a bit of the Westway Trust that sometimes isn't kind of championed enough. The kind of nursery side of the things and the creche, the pop-up creches, because these are the things that make it possible for women to, grow and learn and work. And then we know that those challenges are more prevalent during the cost of living. So actually, it's endless, isn't it? That you can never do enough. You never do enough for women.
Is it possible for the Westway Trust to do everything that the community is asking of
No.
it? And I'm glad you said that, Venu. I'm really pleased that you said that because I know that's true as well, and I don't think people hear that enough. So how do we, as a community and as a Westway Trust, kind of, distill down what the key elements of what you mentioned: economic, environmental, social, etc., education. But is there a point at which we might have to just drill down and do 2 or 3 or something, or rotate things when they're done? I don't know.
Any and all of those things. But the important thing is that it is community-led now. And that is where the community has a say. Look, we are looking for new trustees. We are looking for new co-optees. And what I would say is, if you are passionate about your local community, please step forward. Look at our website. It's on there.
Quite right. Do you... when I was there, I was briefly there in 2018, I think. I remember being surprised, for instance, at how much work the Trust did in supplementary schools and helping kids after work. And, it's one of the things they say about New Labour. They never crowed about some of the great things they did, like Sure Start. Does the Trust tell people enough about some of those slightly mundane, slightly boring things it does that deliver real effects in terms...
Or maybe that's the thing. They're not boring and mundane. No. They're really essential things.
But when I say boring and mundane, it's not glamorous, like, regenerating Bay 58. It's something that helps on a day-by-day, delivers real value.
I'm so proud of our supplementary school programme. We help more than 1,000 young people every year. There are 25 supplementary schools. It is our intention to expand the supplementary school provision, and when you see that group come together on an awards night, it is fantastic to see 600 or 700 people all like so proud and beaming and getting their awards. It is very, very moving. I think that we've got more to do with that group, and we're exploring that at the minute. There are lots of more projects that they can be involved in. They're a resource, and they're also a way in which we can bring more inward investment into the community.
Which is what we need, isn't it?
Yeah, desperately.
Are there other areas where the trust is doing work that is perhaps either undervalued or unknown in the community?
I think there are bound to be things that are slightly unknown. So, for example, at the moment, we're doing a lot experimenting with creative learning and learning to create the kind of inroads for local talent on the creative side to flourish. And that could turn into a really great work stream and a better work stream for the trust. But we've got to experiment and sort of test and learn is the kind of message there. But coming back to the supplementary schools, I do want to say that is one of the things that the African Caribbean community majored in when it realised that it needed more from the education system when that community landed in this country. The education system was not providing what was required. So they were a leader in that development. And so for us now to have the legacy and we should celebrate that supplementary school program, really be very proud of it, because it is built on what the African Caribbean community championed.
And I think it's also, I know it's also left a legacy in the UK of doing for self. Mm-hmm. The way, also with the Susus or the partners, and it's actually Kehinde Andrews, I think he's a professor now, he might be a doctor. He did a piece I think he did his dissertation on the Black supplementary school movement. So if anybody's listening, you can Google Kehinde Andrews. I think he's at Birmingham University. He's a lecturer there, and that's a really interesting piece of work that he did. And you're absolutely right. It really highlights the strength of the community and what they built, and the legacy in this country.
Yeah, and during International Women's Month, it's a very important thing for mothers to feel there's some help being given there. I'm a great believer that, everything should revolve around mothers, because they run communities, they run household budgets.
See how well trained he is?
Yeah, and while I'm on, I would like to pay tribute to a couple of my female ancestors, really. My grandmother was the first Asian woman to have a driving license in Kenya. And nobody said she could do it. Everybody was like doing her down. She could never do it. And she did it, and she was the first. And my mother was a fully qualified teacher in East Africa when she was 16, and she was teaching. And then when she came as an immigrant into Scotland, she had to they couldn't believe that she was a qualified teacher. So she did a year's conversion, and when she was 21, I think, and then she was a teacher in this country. And I never underestimate how resilient and brilliant women are, who can do so many things and keep so many plates spinning. And so, I think we shouldn't be afraid to be the first to hold responsibilities. And people like Shyla Berman and Adersh Sood, who started movements like Mukti or Southall Black Sisters, these are the things that inspired us when we were growing up. And so, it's those women that have inspired me.
And one thing you can say about the Westway Trust AGM is that there is at least 50% contribution from women running the organisations, the member organisations, speaking up for different parts of the community.
Probably more, because the supplementary school movement, a lot of it is really run by women.
Yeah, it is. It is.
A lot of voluntary sector organisations were set up by women. Mm-hmm. That's another thing.
Yeah.
We'll play another tune now, Isis. We'd love to come back, Fainu, and ask you. Let's stop asking what the Westway Trust can do for everyone.
What can we do for the Westway Trust?
Wow, okay.
So this one is a beautiful track. It's a version, actually, of Fela Kuti's Lady. And, of course, we know Lady's a fantastic track, but it's about 19 minutes long. So this is by the Ezra Collective.
Who is that, Isis?
That's Ezra Collective with their version of Fela Kuti's Lady.
Fantastic.
No.
We're here talking to Venu. Venu, thank you for staying beyond your allotted time. We would just ask you, we've talked about what the Westway Trust does for the community. What can the community do to help the Westway Trust help us?
So the Westway Trust really wants to work with community expertise at every level. So if you want to do anything with the Westway Trust, please get in touch with us, because we're building a bank of community expertise. Whether it's paid work or donated work or whatever, volunteer work, we know how valuable that is, and we really want to harness that. We're at the moment looking for trustees. That opportunity is open. Again, please go to the website. We're also wanting to strengthen our governance with co-optees, and this is where we can really use local intelligence. The other thing that the community can do for us is, when we test and learn and when we make mistakes, just give us some breathing space, because anyone who's trying to do anything new or different will always, it's innovation, and in innovation you make errors. And when you do that, you learn from them.
I was about to say that's part of your learning process, surely.
Yeah,
it's the only way.
it is. And so when that happens, just let us learn, because it is coming from a place of integrity, and it's the only way in the long run that the community will be able to help the Westway Trust sustain itself, but also sustain the community.
I know a lot of people are a bit scared of the idea of becoming a trustee, either because of the volume of involvement of work, or that they might be scared that they're in a room with people who are all very brainy or know more about this, that and the other. What's that actually? We've been through a period of change, haven't we? So, but what does it mean now to be a trustee? What's the commitment?
Well, first of all, I should thank the trustees for the level of commitment that they put in during the COVID period and during the early part of the change process, because it was onerous and it was really demanding, and without the commitment from those trustees who are local, the trust would have been in a very, very, very serious position. So all of those trustees out there, thank you for that. In terms of what the commitment is now, we have a different kind of governance. So it is roughly about 13 meetings a year. So there are board meetings every other month, there are committee meetings, and then there's a lot of getting to know the staff, linking us up with community events, expertise. So probably another kind of 4 or 5 meetings in a year where you would come and get involved. But that depends on us having a full cohort of co-optees as well. So the more people that come forward, it's the less work in a way. It's like everyone needs to work together.
It's that old adage about more hands making lighter work.
Yeah,
really.
that's absolutely right. And it's my role with our brilliant staff team to coordinate that effort.
And I noticed actually this week on the website, westway.org, that a lot of the grants and the engagements that were happening before COVID are beginning to start up again.
Yeah, so we had a grants review. And I think probably all organisations probably need to review that every few years, but obviously in the light of COVID and new priorities. So yes, they're all beginning to open up again. And thank you there for the website, Piers, westway.org.
Yeah, who'd forget that?
Yeah.
Venu, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you. It's been a great vibe. I love it here.
We'll definitely have you back.
Thank you.
Yeah, we've enjoyed your stewardship. It's going really well. Would you agree that? Are you relatively pleased with the progress that's been made?
I'm pleased with the foundations we've laid, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so there's a long way to go.
Yeah. What's next?
I totally hear that. You know what you mean.
What's the very next challenge?
Well, I'm working on a reparations framework at the moment, and with good support from our community advisory group. So that's a big challenge, and we're trying to face that together.
Right. And any advice for the cops on how to deal with their institutional racism issues, or do you think those are too deeply entrenched?
Well, there's also, of course, the homophobia and the sexism too.
I think my brain doesn't want to go there now. It's a Friday afternoon.
But
I don't blame you, Tony Drew.
if you're there at the Met, just read the Westway Trust report.
Tutu Foundation.
Thank you, Venu.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Absolutely amazing. Wicked, 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 wicked. More guests coming up very, very soon. Meantime, we've got a great tune from RTI. Thank you, Venu. Thank you, Westway Trust.
Man's got his woman to take a seat. He's got the power, she's got the need. She spends her life through pleasing her man. She feeds him dinner up, anything she can. She cries alone at night too often. He smokes and drinks and don't come home at all. Only women bleed. Only women bleed. Only women bleed. Man makes your head red. He's your life's mistake. All you're really looking for is an even break. He lies right at you. You know you hate this game. He slaps you once in a while and you live and love in pain. She cries alone at night too often. He smokes and drinks and don't come home at all. Only women bleed. 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 Black eyes all of the time. Don't spend a dime. Ain't it a crime? And you there, down on your knees, begging me please come watch me bleed. Man's got his woman to take his seat. He's got the power, she's got the need. She spends her life through pleasing her man, feeds him dinner up, anything she can. Oh! Only women bleed. 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 Only women bleed.
Wow.
Yeah,
Go on.
that was the orchestral version.
Of?
Only Women Bleed by Elkie Brooks.
No way. Love it.
That was the real version, wasn't it?
No, the next thing is 9 to 5 by Dolly Parton. I thought I have to fit that in
Which again
somehow.
is a good tune.
Yeah, it's
really
kind of like
good
we've got
tune.
International Women's Month. So I'm trying to find as many songs by women, different types of things.
Amazing.
To fling in there.
To fling in there.
Yeah.
I'll have to play that for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our very next guest is here.
We're going to
Natasha.
dive straight in.
Yeah, let's dive straight
Alrighty,
in.
I like your
Let's
style.
not hang around. Natasha Langridge, how are you?
I'm all right. I spent the last week filling in an art. I spent the last few months filling in an Arts Council application, and it's
Your brain
really
is fried.
Yeah, it's really horrible. But I'm really glad it's done now. But I'm quite
You are
tired
so
from
preaching
it.
to the choir. He's been on this all week, and no telephone call have I had with him that hasn't started with, "Oh my God, my brain is fried. I've got to fill out another application." You know.
I blame cut and paste actually, because you know what? You start these applications and you just have to fill something in, so you pick something up from somewhere else and you put it in, and then it's not quite right. You've actually
Then you have to tinker with it, and you have to reword it, and then you suddenly think, oh, but the question is actually this. And
Yeah.
I know, it's a nightmare.
And then the website
nightmare,
crashes,
yeah.
and you've got to start
Yeah.
again. And
Oh, that's the
Yeah.
worst thing, when
know.
you've done this application and then it
and you
goes.
forgot to save it, and,
And
you were 18 minutes.
Yeah.
Make a
Don't
cup
tell
of
me about
tea.
it. Don't tell me about it.
Yeah, so you have to do it all on Word, but then of course you change all of that, and then you change it when you put it into the application, and then you don't know where you are, and,
And
then you
sometimes
don't
the
know who you
word
are.
count's different as on the Word
It
document,
is.
and when you put it into the actual
It
online
is,
thing.
Yeah, yeah. No,
it's hard work running a charity, isn't it? Eh?
It's like pulling teeth.
CIC.
All
We're
right,
not charity, we're
CIC. Same
We're
thing,
all
so we.
CICs,
We're all
we're all
CIC.
It is. It's really hard
But, you know.
work, and I don't get paid for most of it,
No,
and
welcome
it's
to
crazy,
the
and it's hard to sustain it. And
Isn't it?
something's
Have you got a
to happen.
Patreon thing, or have you got
No.
an alternative source of income? I suppose is what I'm
No,
suggesting.
it's entirely grants. So
Yeah.
I've been filling in grant forms for 5 years, and I can't do it anymore.
Oh, you can.
No, I
you
can't.
can. You
no,
must. You
no,
must.
No, it's horrible.
I can't.
It's horrible.
I
It's
can't.
horrible.
I've got to find some other way
Is
of
it
doing things.
delegation?
Yeah, but I need to be able to pay somebody else to do these things. That's the thing.
It's
And that's the other thing. There are people who are actually do this for a living,
Yeah.
and they make they make like they're experts in it, and
Yeah.
apparently they're the ones who get paid, and they do everybody's applications, which is a bit unfair as well.
They
Yeah.
use the word social prescription a lot.
Yes.
Natasha,
That's how you get the money.
we first met you through Renegade Theatre,
Yeah.
which you carry on doing.
Yeah.
Do you just want to remind the viewers, listeners, whatever they are,
So-
Both.
what Renegade is?
Renegade Theatre was set up to create theatre and heritage projects with, for and about the community of North Kensington, and it started off with me doing a theatrical monologue about the experience of living through the regeneration of the Warnington Green Estate, and then it became a we've been running a children's drama club at Venture Centre for the last 5 years. And now we're working with adults from our community as well to create theatre. And we're doing a film with them, actually. We're making a film with them at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which you started recently on Friday evenings.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yes.
At the Venture.
Yeah.
A lot of the work you do is site-specific. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember seeing Falling Leaves,
In memory of Leaves.
In memory of Leaves
Yeah.
at Athlone Gardens,
Yeah.
that fabulous little kind of circular amphitheatre that
Yeah.
sits round the back of...
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No, it's gone.
It's all gone.
Yeah.
It's all
demolished.
gone, of course. I should know that. I walked past it the other day.
Yeah.
You did another fabulous one where you went in and out of people's flats on the Warnington.
That was the Warnington Word. So
Yeah.
that was a documentary that I made with Constantine Grash about the people who live on the estate and what it had meant to them and their lives over the last 40 years before it's all gone. Half of it's gone now. There's a bit left. We wanted to record the lives of the people who made it what it was, which was a very friendly community.
Yeah, fantastic community. We're actually here, though, to talk about a screening
Yes.
that you have on Monday.
Yes. So the screening of Nathaniel McBride's play "Dictating to the Estate," which I co-directed last May, is on at Morley College on Monday night at 7:30, and it's about the resistance of the Grenfell Tower residents in the years leading up to the fire. It's an incredible piece of work in that Nathaniel collected and researched minutes from meetings,
the action group blogs, obviously.
The action group blogs, David Cameron's speeches. And it's all verbatim, and it's basically the case for the prosecution, and it's heartbreaking. It was a very difficult play to direct because it's all from the written word, it's all verbatim, and it's all. And we had 5 actors playing 55 characters, but we managed to make it work very well. So I actually haven't seen the film that Constantine made of it. I'll be watching it for the first time on Monday.
Time.
Yeah, but, I'm looking forward to it. And for anybody that didn't see the play or that wants to see it again, then come along. And there's also going to be some portraits of Grenfell Tower residents in the foyer of the college. And it's one of the first public things, I think, that Morley College has done. And obviously that college is very significant to this community here because we saved it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, another one of the resilient campaigns that were fought by these residents in this neighbourhood even before the fire.
Yeah.
Dictating the estate, as well as obviously Nathaniel's incredible painstaking research, it also, you have to address the fire itself. And that, it must have been very difficult to work out what the sensitivity is there, because you can't pretend it didn't happen.
No.
But you also don't want to trigger people.
No, but that's why we did it where we did it. We did it in Maxilla, which is right underneath Grenfell. And when we came to the night of the fire, all the actors faced the tower because that's where we were and that's the reality and that was the truth. So we dealt with it as truthfully but as sensitively as we could. But yeah, of course, it was difficult. I mean, there wasn't every single actor broke down at some point. You know, especially going through all the evidence of how this should never have happened. It should never have happened. The authorities were warned over and over and over and over again for years and years and years and years.
To the point where they were actually told there is going to be a fire. I mean,
exactly.
Never forget Ed's
in words of one
piece.
syllable.
Literally, there is going to be a fire.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah.
It's an amazing.
But we did not show a fire. We were absolutely adamant there was not going to be a fire projected. We had projections, and a lot of the projections were, all of the projections were from Constantine's history of working at Grenfell, but we didn't show any projections of the fire, and we weren't going to do that. Yeah.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's people were very traumatized. Obviously, if the story, the stories of those who were there and the families, etc. But it's also actually the repeated screening of the tower on fire, the tower smoking, the tower on fire that was going on. And actually, we can talk about it and we can do work, creative work and artistic work around it. But it's just how you present it. And I think avoiding a burning tower is the number one thing, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. And when you've got theatre, you don't have to be as literal as that because it's theatre. We use our imaginations, and our imaginations are actually much stronger than seeing something.
And I imagine the words, the stories, the words of the actors told from the stories of those who survived and the BSRs, etc. That's probably more powerful anyway than
than actually.
It tells a story more so than a burning tower.
Yeah, because we're hearing and seeing the emotional consequences on the people who experience
and the language, the way people speak and express themselves. That's all going to be part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking back, it's an extraordinary story, isn't it? Because it's been documented by your play. I recently read the Peter Apps book, Show Me the Bodies. There was the Channel 4 documentary that Constantine's footage was put in, which I think was called Grenfell, The Untold Story.
Yeah.
And each of those different media has shown in, again, very simple terms, how a lot of people put profit and callous disregard for people ahead of basic things like safety, like courtesy, and like consideration for your fellow human being.
Absolutely. But it's a culture really of just forgetting about people. It's a culture of just putting the profit first and also covering yourself. There were so many people that were just covering their backs basically, or passing the buck to somebody else. And that's been going on for years and years and years, and that's what needs to change. People need to start asking questions and also taking responsibility. But, I don't know how we'll ever get there. It's
well, it's coming. It's a culture thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Ultimately,
very much so.
Literally, RBKC saw the majority of people who weren't, wealthy and privileged in the north as kind of serfs somehow.
Yeah,
they didn't listen. They didn't listen. They had that colonial mentality.
Yeah.
I'll speak to you and you'll do as I tell you.
Yeah.
And that's basically what happened until the fire.
Yeah.
And now we are trying to gradually change that. And we're still struggling to change that.
Yeah, because they still don't care.
Yeah, it's a
They
very
don't care. They're
colonial mentality.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they literally have it's us and them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, dictating to the estate comes from a very famous offhand remark made in one of the council meetings by, I think it was Mary Wheel or Catherine Fawkes, one of those.
I can't remember, and Nathaniel would remember that more than I would. Yeah, yeah.
But they said that
Yeah.
the village will not dictate to the estate,
Yes.
if I remember rightly.
That's right, yeah.
Meaning,
Yeah.
which is about as feudal way as you could put it, apart
I mean,
from
that's
anything
literally,
else.
this is what was going on, and this is one of the issues that we have. If the people so-called in power consider that they are the people that they're elected to rule are beneath them, and that their opinions don't matter, their humanity isn't on the same level, on the same par, then that's always going to keep happening, because they are not going to listen. When one of their own speaks to them, they're actually going to engage and take it seriously. One of us speaks, it's like that thing, isn't it, with John Cleese and is it the Two Ronnies guy? I looked down on him because he's
He's
working.
middle class.
Yeah, and I look up. It's literally that.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't know. I mean, it's the way that a lot of the people are educated, though, isn't it? At Eton, they are educated that we're going to rule the world, and how do we control the people? And a lot of it is obviously, as we're seeing, rule and divide. It's an age-old thing. Make poor people blame other poor people for their problems instead of blaming the people at the top, who are the ones who are actually robbing and thieving and murdering us. It's a very, I don't know how we change it.
Well, we have to. I'm thinking it's a very similar thing to what's happening with the migrant stuff now, the demonising of migrants and people in boats.
Absolutely.
They are not responsible.
Absolutely.
They have no responsibility. In fact, bring all the boats, every single boat, because this country owes all of these people around the world.
Totally. Yes.
Well, it is possible to change it, though, isn't it? We just talked to Venu for half an hour, and she is gamely starting the work of changing the internal processes and the culture at the trust.
But in order for that to happen, you have to have the right sort of people in charge. Now, I'm not going to say that every single Tory in RBKC is evil. Of course not. I'm not going to say that. But we do not have the right people in RBKC at the town hall running North Kensington. That's the reality. There's a disconnect. The difference, Venu is a woman of colour, a woman from the community. She's come in, she's working with a board of people who are essentially all members of the community at North Kensington in the Westway Trust. It's a lot of work, but they have the potential to make that happen. Whereas I don't see how we can really embed a different culture in RBKC whilst we still have the same sort of people, the people that you talk about that came out of Eton and Harrow and Uxbridge educated and just have never lived with ordinary people. They're responsible. Yeah, how even if they care in a paternalistic way, and that's very different to an equitable relationship.
Yeah.
If only Boris had been to Uxbridge instead of Oxbridge.
Yeah. Did I say Uxbridge? Sorry, Oxbridge. Sorry.
Yeah.
See, I can't even say it.
Yeah, no, we do have to have different people in. Different people have to be in power, and I don't know how we do that apart from I definitely know we do need to have some sort of revolution, and I wish it would happen now. But I've been wanting that and actually expecting it for about 30 years, and in the last couple of years, I've sort of got a bit despondent. And
look, when in 2019?
It started in France.
Yeah, it has.
When did they vote in Boris Johnson? When was the last election? 2018?
2019 was the one where he got the vote. He obviously became Prime Minister because Theresa May had been kicked off her
Yeah, but
perch.
so when they actually had the election and it was
2019, Christmas
Jeremy
2019.
Corbyn or Boris Johnson.
And people chose
and
Boris
people
Johnson.
chose Boris
That's-
Johnson. That for me, that was it.
No,
I
that's
was
when
like, I've had enough.
No, that's when I thought,
Yeah,
what
I've had enough.
Is there something in the water? Have they put
Something
something
seriously
in the water?
wrong.
What is wrong with people in this country?
serious
Why
problems.
Why would you vote? Why would you vote?
Why?
Why would you
Because-
vote?
Boris Johnson over
Why?
Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah,
Because you're listening to the right-wing media.
but why?
Stop it. Stop
Yes,
it immediately.
no,
Stop buying The Sun. Stop buying the Tory Graph. Stop buying the Observer. Stop listening to the BBC News. Listen, grow up, people. Look around you. Stop being dictated to by the right-wing media.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I still don't understand why people actually believe what they're saying. I don't understand why people don't question more.
Well,
I know, but they didn't quite know. They didn't have evidence that he was a liar, like they had evidence
With
of
Boris,
Johnson
that was
a
Dinny
liar.
Shank in the background. What about Tony Blair?
Yeah.
Just to fill in the audience that didn't hear
Well,
that
I'm
comment.
afraid
Brilliant.
he is partly responsible for the lack of trust in politicians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to dictating to the estate. It's been a while as a kind of developing project. There were readings up at the playground, and I know it developed between then and the final production.
Yeah.
Obviously, the film is of that production,
Yeah.
so there's been no changes. As we move to the inquiry findings and possible criminal action, please, and beyond, is the play going to continue to develop, or is it kind of over? Is it finished? Is it a completed project?
I mean, that particular play is a completed project, but I know that Nathaniel has got lots of ideas of what to do in the future. So you'd have to ask him. I don't know. Yeah.
But you're available if
Yes.
if he does.
Yeah. And obviously, all of us will find our ways to keep shining a light on the atrocity that happened and trying to bring people to justice. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. There is I've never been quite comfortable with this idea that people from outside the area shouldn't take a picture of Grenfell, because to me it's always been
No,
very.
I agree with you.
It's very important that Peter Apps writes a book.
Yeah.
You guys do a play and a film, and the more people who turn up from Brixton or Camden or Tower Hamlets,
I think what it is
see the size of it and just see how,
Yeah,
or
I think-
imagine how it must have been on the night.
What it is,
And take a picture home.
It's the intent, isn't it? It's not even because I think, like you said, I think people need to take photographs of Grenfell Tower and take them all over the world. I sent photographs to all my family everywhere for them to see what was going on, because obviously I knew the story and I wanted to make sure they were aware of what happened. But I think it's the intent when you have people mocking or taking the pictures for the wrong way. But obviously we can't control what everyone's doing. And I think that's where that came from. A lot of people were very angry when anyone came into the area or wrote about or filmed or did anything. But that's because people were afraid of the negative intent.
And I think there were some people taking selfies and things like that, which
really,
was very distasteful.
exactly. And I think that's where it came from. But I think in reality, I think it's a good thing to share, as long as it's done respectfully.
Absolutely, and it has become a symbol for this system.
Institutional murder.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, all over the world. I mean, it's very important. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's our tragedy, obviously. Well, there's kind of layers, aren't there? The rings of tragedy.
Yeah.
There are those who are directly affected, people who lost loved ones.
Yeah.
You have the survivors who got out and will, Ed Daffon's a great friend of mine. He will certainly never, hardly a minute goes by in his life where he's not thinking about Grenfell. You've got members of the community, it's 80 metres from my back door and I see it every day. But it's for the people who were affected by Lacanal.
Yes.
It's for the people
Yes.
in Dubai.
Yes.
It's for the people in Manchester, whether they're in social housing or private housing, who can't sell their flats because...
I suppose it's all the people who empathise as well and feel like that could have been me in my tower block. And and my local authority wouldn't have cared, and we've spoken to the local authority about this, that, or whatever, and we big ignored. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's not just about fire; it's about any
Everything.
callous
It could have been
disregard.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Disrepair
That's
can
exactly
be a
it.
death trap, basically. Yeah.
It's a symbol of the authorities' disregard for poor people's lives, basically. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
poor little kid who in Rochdale who died from the black mold. It's the same
Yeah.
underlying issue that
And
we're
the little
talking about.
girl somewhere, I think it was in East London, who died as a result of the pollution. It triggered some sort of lung thing, and she
Yeah.
died. I mean, these things are all to do with poverty
Yeah.
and neglect.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah, which is getting worse and worse and worse in this country.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah.
Have you seen the
Yeah.
price of eggs if you couldn't get one?
I've just stopped eating eggs. I've just become a vegan. I'm just giving it a go, actually.
Good luck
So,
with
yeah,
that.
Well,
thank you.
I've been
Yeah.
I used to say I was vegan since I was 21 for most of my life, but now I've heard the term plant-based and looked more into it, and I'm going to go with plant-based because I do eat honey, and
Yeah.
technically some people say honey's not vegan because it's from the bees,
Yeah.
and I do
Oh,
eat.
okay.
You're
and
like
I
a
do,
big grizzly bear stealing the honey from
exactly,
the bees.
and I do eat the odd cake or so and biscuit, and it might have a bit of egg in it. So
Yeah.
I'm going to go with plant-based.
I've just realised that I think Nathaniel may be writing a sequel, actually. So
Yeah.
you better ask him that question anyway about.
Well, we'll get
if
him
it's
back
being
on the
developed.
show.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. We're having a panel discussion on Monday night after the film with Ed and Moira and Lisa, my co-director, and Nathaniel. Yeah,
Great.
I'll ask him.
How do people get a ticket? Do you need a ticket? Can you just tip up?
Just come up.
Um,
Yeah, I
what-
think it's on Eventbrite.
Roll up, roll up.
You can get a ticket on Eventbrite, or you can just turn up. Yeah, 7:30.
7:30 in the
Where
morning.
is it?
Morley College in Mornington Road. Yeah.
And can we get some social media handles for Renegade Theatre?
Yes, you can. Renegade. Yes, you can. My mind's just gone blank from one thing to
do you
another.
want me to find it?
The Arts Council have scrambled my brain. We have got a Twitter account and an Instagram account, and it's Renegade Theatre, but it's R-I instead of R-E.
Renegade Theatre.
Yeah. At the end of the theatre. The
Theatre.
theatre is the R-I instead of R-E.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, it's
Yeah.
like Italian or something.
Yeah.
Anything else you're up to at the moment? Do you still need people on the Friday nights? Or
Well,
is that
anyone's welcome to come. We've got a good crew there who are doing amazingly well. Incredible improvisations are coming out of their imaginations. They're all incredibly brave and putting themselves out there. We're exploring ideas for our film, which will be shooting in the next few weeks. And if anybody's interested, come along and join in. It's a very lovely group. Yeah,
And
but
what
there's
time is that?
We've got quite a lot of people. Yeah.
What
yeah.
time is that?
So that's at 7 o'clock at Venture Centre on a Friday night, 7 till 9.
Great.
Yeah.
Bring your ideas.
Bring
and
your ideas.
enthusiasm.
And your
energy.
courage. And your energy and your courage, yes.
So you, after tuning into Portobello Radio for 2 hours, you can then nip up to the Venture Centre and do some acting.
Yeah, no, I love the way that this community-based theatre, it's a little bit Joan Littlewood, isn't
Yes,
it?
it is.
In a way.
Yeah.
That people are getting involved. I mean,
I
there
have
was
no
that,
idea who Joan Littlewood is, sorry.
She, if I'm not much mistaken, she was the mentor of Barney Platts Mills, who went on
Don't know who Barney Platts
who
Mills
went
is.
on to found the Portobello Film Festival 28 years ago and made a couple of fantastic.
Oh, didn't he die?
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Dave and Tina were talking about his funeral, I think.
She did a lot of work in the East End, and she was very, very political,
Stratford
and
East.
she upset a lot of people in Stratford East.
And she did an awful lot of it with
Yeah.
kids from the community,
Yeah.
particularly who had shown no aptitude or interest in acting and then ended
Yeah.
up starring in movies.
Yeah, but the thing is, the people here are very talented, and the people who have come into our group, they absolutely blow me away. They are just as good as anybody else who's at drama school. Actually, they're better because they haven't had
they're
the
not
rough
at drama
edges
school.
polished off them, and they might need to learn some techniques and stuff. But and they absolutely love it, but they haven't been given the opportunity before, and now. They're really making the most of it, and I find it incredibly inspiring, and I have absolute admiration for all of them.
To get involved, people.
Yeah.
That's hashtag get involved. It's our catchphrase. Natasha, thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you.
by. Good
Lovely
luck
to
this
see you all.
evening with the group.
Cheers.
Hope to see you on Monday.
Yes,
At
okay.
around 7:30 up
Yeah.
there at the college. We saw Craig actually.
Uh-huh.
Craig Hanlon-Smith, who's a regular on this show. Saw him the other day. He's very excited by everything that's happening. As
Top dog at
Morley
Morley.
Yeah, he's great.
Top
burst
dog at
into
Morley.
Yeah.
flower.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you,
Thank
Natasha.
you. Okay.
Very good
Thank
luck
you.
with everything.
Thank you very much.
Wicked. Looking forward to see how this flower grows and develops. Love it. Love it. Brilliant.
Oh, you're so
Absolutely brilliant.
poetic. It's like
Aren't I?
It's like doing a show with Wordsworth.
Maybe not. Anyway, I'm full of love, baby. I'm full of love. Who's got the next tune? Come on,
The lady
Auntie
on my
Isis,
left.
ones and
Thank you.
twos.
Thank you to Tasha Langridge from
Nice one,
Renegade
Natasha.
Theatre.
Wicked.
Don't forget, Monday, Morley College, What You Know is Worthington, Dictating to the Estate, the movie.
Nice one.
Trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination. I realized quickly when I knew I should that the world was made up of this brotherhood of man, for whatever that means. Into a crisis times when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head, and I am feeling a little peculiar. And so I wake in the morning and I step outside and I take a deep breath and I get real high and I scream from the top of my lungs, what's going on? And I say, Trying to get up that great big hill of hope for a destination.
Singing.
Yes, Greg Z. Piers, what's going on?
What's going on?
We're on the Wagwan. Well,
we're Wagwaning now.
there are... back to the show.
Actually, I think the most important thing, first of all, I should have said it when I came in, but I was a little bit late, is to say Ramadan Kareem.
Oh, well done.
Ramadan Mubarak.
Yeah.
To all my sisters and brothers, Muslims out there who are fasting for the holy
fasting.
month of Ramadan.
Absolutely.
I am in solidarity with you, and I'm fasting as well. So
Yeah.
no swearing either. I'm trying to behave myself. Going to be good for Ramadan.
You've only got 3 or 4 more hours to go, and then of course
No,
you've
I'm
got
going to be
a
good for the
little-
month.
Yeah,
no,
well, of
no
course, no,
cussing, no drinking,
but
none
you
of
can-
that. You
You can get away with it after 9
And the
o'clock,
clocks
I'm sure.
go forward next.
On
actually,
Sunday.
Yeah, we got it
On
easy. We got it
Saturday.
easy today,
Yeah.
and tomorrow and Saturday because the clocks don't go forward. And then, of course, then we have to fast an hour later. So it'll be
Yeah.
like 7 something before we break
And
fast.
it's
So
one
that's
of-
the first Wagwan.
One of those wonderful moments in the calendar year where both the Muslims and the Christians are respecting spirit.
fasting together.
Yeah, fasting together, respecting
Are
spirit.
Christians
So
fasting?
it's
It's
Lent.
Lent.
It's Lent.
Do you
And it's
remember
for
that
another 2
Lent
more
comes
weeks.
after Mardi Gras and
Yeah.
No,
Carnival?
I know that, but I've forgotten about that.
Didn't know it went
But they-
on.
no, I've forgotten they fast for
So
Lent.
for another 2 more weeks, we're doing this together, which is wonderful. It's a beautiful
It
thing.
is beautiful,
It's
and
a
also
beautiful
I
thing.
think it's something about the astrological alignment.
Definitely, absolutely.
But
There's
yes,
lots in that.
Wagwan, Piers.
Yeah, well,
Wagwan.
go on. Moving on. moving on.
Wagwan. Well, Monday, of course, at 7:30, there is the Dictating to the Estate showing
Yep.
up there at Morley College, what we used to know as Wernington. There's an alternative on Monday, actually, at about the same time. And we're delighted to say the star of the show just
No
dropped
way.
in by
No
chance.
way.
You heard about it here last week. Sukai Eccleston was
She was
on the show.
brilliant.
Castle
Brilliant.
Dart
Yeah, man.
was bigging it up. The first of her Drop the Needle talks, and
Yeah.
it features our very own Junior Tomlin.
Junior
who?
You're allowed to pick the microphone
You
up
are.
now.
I have picked up the mic.
Just don't drop it.
I won't drop the mic.
Yet.
Junior, on Monday, you're doing a talk with music.
Yes.
Where is it? It's down there in Brixton,
It's
at the
down in
Brixton Brewery.
Brixton. Yeah. It'll be, a great...
You're going south.
Yeah, it's down south.
Yeah.
Lovely.
It'll be a great night.
On Brixton Station Road, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So it's right
Just
there,
outside the
literally-
tube.
Literally outside the tube or the overground
So,
station.
tickets
Wonderful.
available on Eventbrite. Use code DROP20 to get your 20% discount off.
Oh, yeah, really?
Yes.
Mental. Brilliant.
Yeah. And, I'll be talking to Sukai about the art the music that's influenced my artwork.
Ah.
Because that's how you started as a kind of professional artist, if I may use those words, by doing flyers for raves, record covers, and at one point you were known as the Salvador Dali of rave.
Hang on, he's still the Salvador Dali of rave.
I will always be
I
the
didn't know
Salvador Dali of
I
rave
didn't know
without
rave-
the
I didn't-
moustache.
I didn't know rave was still going.
I dare you one time to turn up to a gig with a moustache on. I think that'd be brilliant.
Actual
Absolutely
Salvador
brilliant.
Dali
yeah,
moustache as well.
yeah. Do it.
That would,
Go for it. Go for it.
No, that would be interesting. That would
Wouldn't
be
it be
interesting.
mental? Wouldn't it be mental? You could even
Yeah.
have a cigarette holder,
Yeah.
man. You could do the whole thing. It'd be brilliant. Absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant.
And also, I'll be talking about the thing known as AI.
Oh, cool.
And how I survived the rabbit hole of AI.
Did you survive?
Well, actually, have you survived though?
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
I know what's on that
yeah,
iPad.
I think you've got myxomatosis.
Oh, no. That's when rabbits have their eyes bulge out and they go funny. I know myxomatosis. I've seen it.
You do.
You sure you haven't had it before?
No.
It's that rabbit holing, I tell you. It gets to all of us.
It's mad because all it is that you find the program, you generate one image, and then you press regenerate, and guess what? The second you press regenerate is the first step you've taken into the rabbit hole.
Oh, wow.
So
I've seen some of your rabbit holing.
Yeah.
It's great. It's brilliant.
And guess what? 9,000 images later.
Yeah,
How far down the rabbit hole have you been?
Wow, 9,000.
Yeah.
All auto self-generating from the original image or the original element.
But you know, it's interesting whatever the back stuff is on that, because when we were together, me and Junior and Toby, we were like messing around with Junior's AI stuff and giving it instructions, and I gave it instructions, written instructions, and I particularly put a 57-year-old woman in it. Okay, and it came back with an image of a woman that, if she was 57, my God, she was looking good. I wish I looked like that. She had like tiny waist and nose lines, and everything was perfect. And I was like, wow, some man has been involved in the creation of whatever's behind this.
Yeah, I think AI it could be deemed as like a sexist thing. I think it was like.
I think a little bit sexist, yes. Very small waist.
Yes, because I think there's a lot of men who have their like fantasy women with a big bust, tiny waist, and things like that. And that is what they make.
Yeah.
Yeah,
amazing.
Those are the images sort of like, but I'm not into that. But as I was saying, my lovely lady, she pulled me out of the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
By saying that, haven't you got enough images?
Oh, what you on about?
You've got enough images to last you a lifetime.
Never enough.
And some of those images you can see on the wall at the Saatchi Gallery in the Beyond the Streets. We went round that together. How do people get tickets again for Drop the Needle on Monday?
You go to Eventbrite, you look for Drop the Needle. And if you put in the discount code of DROP20, you'll get 20% off. But go down there on Monday, see me, hear me. There'll be things on sale, merchandise. I've got my book on sale. And I also have one or two books that no one has seen before. On sale.
Oh, wow.
Get on
really?
down.
Yeah.
Get on down.
Hang on, you've got secret books that no one's seen before.
Yes, it's AI.
Fresh press.
My AI assisted thing. The lovely thing about that is that you can get books. You can get picture books done. So I went down the picture book route.
Oh, well done. Well done.
To generate a book.
Yeah. Ooh.
Are they for sale on Monday?
Yeah, they'll be on sale for Monday.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Yeah,
Looking forward to it. It's going to be a great exhibition, this one.
Yeah,
Gonna be
and I've also
fantastic.
got like A4 prints and also A3 prints on sale.
Amazing. Super.
Get down there. Don't forget your card, your debit card, or
Yeah,
your
man.
credit card.
Yes.
I don't know whether we can. Do we approve of people buying art on credit? Just don't gamble on your credit card.
Oh, cash is always good. I can put it in my
Cash
back
is
pocket, and then you can follow the trail of cash as it spools out.
Follow the
And then
money.
you can buy me a coffee.
Yes, I can.
With your cash.
Yeah, with cash.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Thank you, Junior. We
Thank
are
you,
sitting
Junior,
in the
indeed.
Muse. An alternate life is on. Andrei Maria Borkowski.
Borkowski.
That is on here for another week or so.
And if you want to know more about that, then listen to last week's show.
Yeah,
Or was it a week
2
before,
weeks ago.
actually? Yeah.
It finishes on the 2nd of April.
Marvellous.
There's some more stuff going on here at the Muse, actually. We are doing one of our... Sorry?
I just want to also mention, on the 1st of April, I'll be exhibiting artwork at Electroworks.
Where's Electroworks?
Oh, I can't remember.
It's in Islington, isn't
Okay.
it?
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
okay. Well
yeah.
done. Brilliant. Sadly, it clashes with our bus tour, but
Yeah.
there's nothing going to stop us from promoting it. That's
and
wonderful,
that-
man.
and that's basically like your story of rave, where you've got a whole lot of like ravers going down there, looking through boxes of music, buying
Brilliant.
flyers and things like
Brilliant.
that.
Oh, wow.
It's put on by
wow.
this guy I know called Billy Bunter.
Oh, yeah.
DJ.
Yeah, DJ Billy Bunter, we know him well. Brill. Absolutely brill. And that's just a one-day event, is it?
That's just a one-day event.
That's sad. Poo. Well, we'll try and make it, but I think I'm going to be too stoned, too drunk, and too knackered.
We're going to be talking about record fairs in a minute, funny
Okay,
enough. Just
yeah,
to
yeah.
whip through some
Thank
of the
you.
other things that are going on. The bus tour, as Greg so wisely said, is next on 1st of April.
Yeah, it
That
should be
is
wicked.
a
Should be
performance
absolutely
special.
wicked.
And it is pick up at the usual time, the corner of Oxford Gardens and Portobello Road at midday. There are 3 stops: Frestonia, Design Museum and Maxilla Social Club, Maxilla Plaza, and there will be performers
Wow.
at each of those venues.
It's going to be great. We've got Kitty Noble, we've got Mobius
Mobius.
Trip, Mob.
We've got Sofreya, Tubby Kun, Steph and Ish. We also
have we not got Philippos as well?
you have Philippos.
Philippos, which is going to be mental.
Philippos Tsitopoulos.
Well done.
That
well done.
evening, at the Muse. That's the evening of April Fool's Day. Portobello People's TV is having
Yeah.
another preview,
Oh, cool.
celebrating some of the great movies from the Portobello Film and Art Festival's 26 years.
Amazing.
Specifically, what they're going to be doing is playing Dotco Banksy, which is Dominic Wade's cult classic. You'll have seen his stickers all around the neighbourhood of his Banksy £10 notes.
Okay.
And that is here at the Muse from, I believe, 6 p.m. till 11
Sounds
on the 1st.
mad. Properly mad.
The Muse Theatre Group is also back up and running, and they have 2 shows coming up in May. Something to look forward, a bit of Blue.
Nice.
And Joe Orton's Last Laugh. We'll no doubt be talking about them in more detail.
Wicked. Sounds mental. Absolutely mental. While on the Muse, they did a drum and bass session 2 hours of last week, and I think we're going to be publishing that, or indeed broadcasting that on Portobello Radio very, very soon.
Fantastic.
Absolutely amazing bit of D's and B's.
Anton Mirto, who was on the show again about 6 weeks ago, talking about her fantastic project Signs. That is the signs all around the neighbourhood, like little plaques, which say things like, in this place we walked slowly, slowly, and someone said we were beautiful.
Aww.
Or in this place, this is the place where I confronted the failures in my life and cried. She took a whole load of community responses to a map. People picked out moments where they'd felt things on specific places, and she has put up their thoughts as plaques all around the neighbourhood.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, yeah, keep an eye out for them as well.
Great.
Amazing.
Should we play a tune, and then we'll have our next guest?
Yeah, all right. I've got one more What's On, but we can do that later. Don't
Yeah.
worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Mental. Absolutely mental. Auntie
Cool.
Isis, have we got something lined up?
Yes, just bear with me. Talk, Piers. Say something exciting.
Exciting.
Well,
Say
you
something
could get your
interesting.
last one.
All right,
Go on.
I'll get my last. Go on. Here we go. If I can hit that button there, then hopefully have a quick listen to this.
Sometimes the bird, it just doesn't crow. Sometimes it sings, it sings, it. Sometimes the bell, it just doesn't toll. Sometimes it rings, it rings, it rings. The bird it flew as it was frightened by the ringing of the bell. Startled starling joins the sky.
So there you go. That's a song called My Word from a band called Perhaps Contraption. Perhaps Contraption have joined up with a fantastic promotional group, and they are doing a massive Save the Rhino gig. It's a black tie event. It's going on in Soho. It's going off on the 17th of April. If you guys want to get involved, then just look for Horns and Save Some Rhinos. 17th of April. There's a few tickets left. It's going to be massive. This band are going to be playing live. They're a live 8-piece brass band with a fantastic female front vocalist. It's just mental. Got to get yourself involved. There's food, there's cocktails. It's a bit of a doo-doo, darling. So get involved and make the Rhinos more beautiful again.
And I think you'll find Neville is DJing.
No way.
Yeah, he is.
No way. I'm going to
indeed.
talk to the promoters about that. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. In that case, I'll see him down there.
All right,
Superb.
time for tune.
Time for tune.
a fabulous woman. We are delighted to welcome our next guest, Peter Collins. Hi, Peter. How are you doing? No, you have to.
Yeah, great, thanks.
Peter, you are from Soundbite Fairs.
Soundbite Fairs, yeah, we've been around for 20 years actually, and we run 3 fairs in West and South West London. Tomorrow,
that's record fairs.
Record fairs, but other things are supplied: CDs, cassettes, books, posters, anything really connected with music, and we're on it.
And they are the last Saturday of every month. So the
one in Shepherd's Bush, which is tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's at Chaircroft Community Hall next to the BP petrol station. That's the last Saturday of every month. And we also do a fair in Wimbledon, which is the first Saturday of the month, and one in Chiswick, which is the third Saturday of the month. But if you go online and just go to Soundbite Fairs, Google Soundbite Fairs, all the details will come up.
Great. So if I was to turn up tomorrow, what time is it tomorrow?
Yes, 11 to 5, free admission. We have a pool of several dealers, and so between the fairs, there's always a good turnover of stock. But if you to go tomorrow, and then in a month's time, you'll see a whole new load of things coming in.
Do you specialise in any particular areas?
I particularly specialise in rock music.
Right.
I mean, I'll give you an example. This month is the 50th anniversary of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon. So there's a lot of interest, a lot of radio interest. Obviously, members of the band will be talking about it. So I will try to have, as many sort of good copies as I can of it, because the demand will be phenomenal, especially from foreign tourists.
Well, as a matter of interest, because I must have at least one copy knocking around somewhere.
Yeah.
What's an original copy of?
Oh, well, I wish I hadn't started this.
Probably in quite shabby condition.
Yeah, the very first issues have what's called a solid blue prism, and they go for a phenomenal amount of money. The more common ones, which came a couple of weeks after those, are just a line prism one.
Yeah, that's
but
the one
what makes them interesting, but this is the same for many records, is what they came with, because the early 70s were a golden age of product. So with the Dark Side of the Moon, a gatefold sleeve, 2 posters, 2 stickers, plus the record. So you really got your money's worth. Within a couple of years of that, the industry had stripped back on all kinds of things. So take someone like David Bowie, a particular favourite of mine. Aladdin Sane, which again, very lavish cover in a fan club thing. Within 2 years, young Americans, nothing.
No, single sleeve.
Single sleeve, no lyrics, nothing. So that was the way that the industry ran. Then, of course, consumption came back a bit later. But it's interesting to see these things ebb and flow.
Yeah, I've probably got a copy of Aladdin Sane knocking about. If people listening in have got records, I mean, a lot of people love their vinyl, but they haven't got room for it. Do you buy records from people?
I particularly like buying collections when people are downsizing or whatever, and they reluctantly, need to move on and what have you. I can always tell within the first sort of 20 records if it's going to be of interest to me. But I can only say it's a bit like the estate agents thing. Not location, but condition.
Yeah.
If things are in poor condition, they have no resale value at all. Nothing. So more than happy to look at records as long as they've not been used as frisbee by the children.
Yeah. Or even... or even played too often, I imagine.
Playing too often doesn't really damage them. It's when people decide they don't like the third track, so they lift up the needle. And they
I could possibly argue that one. I tell you, a lot of old sound systems, because the turntable was so close to the speaker, they put big coins on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you get a lot of lovely old reggae tunes, and if you don't weight down the needle when you're playing it back, then you just get this horrible white noise.
But the reggae's interesting because a lot of the vinyl that was used in Jamaica was very poor quality. They would recycle it time and time again, and so a lot of the vinyl that was produced was really
That's
sort
interesting.
of poor
Haven't heard
quality.
that one. Yeah.
And what's happened recently is the reissues that are being brought out by the major companies are superb quality, 180 grams plus, and so you're getting, in a sense, a much better version than was ever got back in the day.
Wow.
I have to say that I do have friends who collect records, who would say, one for instance, who comes from New Zealand, and he always says that some of his records are much better quality in terms of playing them live because of that really old, thick vinyl meant the needle got really deep in the groove, so you get a fantastic bass sound out of it.
He may be right, but I think you'll agree with me that people